Hello, hello, Facebook! Live on Facebook. Answering your questions now. Answering questions from Twitter and Facebook for a little bit. I have a little free time. Why not? For Facebook Live, I just need to wait a few minutes while people join. Usually it takes a few minutes for people to see it in their Facebook and join, so I'll wait a few minutes. So, just for a few minutes, I am answering your questions on Facebook and Twitter. I think they call these AMAs. AMAs, Ask Me Anything. You can ask me anything, but probably I will only answer questions about English, Animal Farm, the show, that kind of stuff. You're certainly free to ask me whatever you want. Okay, nice to see you too. So now we have people coming in, joining now. Now you can ask me questions right now on Twitter or Facebook. I have my Twitter open right now, so I can see my Twitter and answer questions there, or comments are okay too. And of course, live on Facebook also. Now, I am in Osaka, Japan right now. It's evening. Let's see what time it is around the world. What time is it? In America, it's late, so probably not getting many people in, North America, it's late. South America, Rio is 7 a.m. Some early morning folks, maybe. And Europe is 11 a.m. So anyone who's working is probably at work, or people are at school. But if they're working weird hours, not normal hours, daytime hours, then maybe some Europeans. And I don't know about Russia and India and other places, but anyway. Let's see. So anyway, I'm AJ Hoge, the author of Effortless English. As you know, go to effortlessenglishclub.com for my courses. That is my official website right there. All right, so just for a few minutes while I have some time, I'll answer your questions. Also, there are a few nice Twitter comments I got recently about Animal Farm that I wanted to read and discuss. They're just very good. I realize that next time I have to talk about Chapter 3, so I don't know, maybe I won't have time to discuss these comments, so I want to make sure I talk about them, because really, from some Effortless English members, I've been getting some nice comments and ideas about their ideas about Animal Farm, some of which are a little different than mine, which is good. All right, let's go live. First, I'll check Facebook Live, where people are joining in. And right away, Mohammed asked, what does chaperone mean? Now, I don't, I'm wondering if you mean chaperone, but I'm not sure. So tell me if that's the case, Mohammed. Chaperone, I have no idea. I don't think it's a word. If it is, it's a word I don't know, but chaperone, C-H-A-P-E-R-O-N-E, chaperone, is an English word, and I can explain that one if that's what you mean. Okay, we have lots of people just saying hello from places around the world. Looks like, what do we got here? We have Yemen, we have Thailand, Kurdistan, in Iraq. We have Kurdistan again, Poland, Kurdistan again. Wow, Kurdistan is popular today. Vietnam, Brazil, an early morning in Brazil. Hey, Luciana, how are you? What's the difference? She's asking, Luciana or Luciana? Spanish would be Luciana. Anyway, what's the difference between VIP and ACC regards? To be honest, there's no difference at all. It's the same program, so join one or join the other. Don't join both, because you'll get the exact same content. You'll get the same exact lessons. So they're just through our different websites, different businesses, actually. But they're the same program, so just join one of them. You choose, doesn't matter. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Manaf asks, I'm an English language student. I'm going to write an article about errors, mistakes. I guess making mistakes in English. Can you recommend some resources, or have you written any articles about the topic? I have written about this topic, and I've spoken about it a lot. Honestly, right now I can't give you a specific article. I don't, Dr. Krashen, Stephen Krashen, talks about this topic also. But again, I can't. And he's done actual research on it, and he's done study. What am I trying to say? He has published lots of different studies about this topic, correcting errors. But I honestly can't give you a specific article right now off the top of my head. It's been too long since I've focused on the research. I would recommend just doing some searches for Stephen Krashen and his research, and from there you can probably find a lot more. So that's what I would recommend. I'm guessing this is like an academic paper for a university or a high school or something. So that's my recommendation. Start with Dr. Stephen Krashen, and then from there you should be able to find a lot more stuff. So good luck to you. All right, next, Rebin asks, how can I improve my vocabulary? I forget words. Well, first of all, forgetting words is totally normal. Everybody forgets words. It's completely, absolutely normal. You're going to forget words. There's no use getting upset about it, because it will happen, right? Because you're not perfect. You're not a perfect computer, so you can't just see 100 words or find a bunch of new words and then remember them all perfectly the first time. That's not how it works, right? You see a word, you remember it a little bit, then you forget it. Then you see it again. Now you remember it a little longer, and then you forget it. And then you see it a third time. Now the memory gets stronger, right? And you see it the fourth time, the fifth time, the sixth time. And then after more and more repetition, that word goes deeper and deeper in your memory. First, in your passive memory, which means when you see or hear the word, you understand it, but you still can't really use it when you speak. You can't remember it fast enough when you speak or write. So that's called passive vocabulary. And then with more and more repetition, maybe some effort to use it, then it becomes active. It goes deeper still, and then it becomes active. You can actually use it, you remember it, and you can use it when you speak and when you write. So it's a long process. You just have to relax. Now, what's the best method for vocabulary? In my opinion, and in the opinion of the research that I have seen, reading by far, reading books specifically, reading books is the best way possible to improve your vocabulary, meaning learn the most number of words in the shortest time. Now, I recommend you read a book and also listen to the audiobook. So do both if you can. Some books you can't find an audiobook, no problem, but some books you can. So whenever you possible, do both. And read lots and lots of books, always reading, listening. You're going to get a lot of new words. Just relax and enjoy it. It will happen automatically. All right. Chris, being kind of rude. If you have a comment, you can say it more politely. Let's see. AJ, nice to see you, and thank you. Good. Hear your voice. Long time no see. Hello, I'm here. I love you. Hello. Really like your lectures. Great. Vietnam. Okay, good. So no more. I don't see any more questions on Facebook at the moment, so I'm going to go to Twitter. Because let me read this comment from Twitter that I really liked. I got to find it. It's down here a little bit. Let's move this screen. All right, Twitter, yo. Oh, that's a good one too. I'm trying to find it was a comment about Animal Farm, which was quite good, actually. Actually, pretty detailed one. I've gotten a few comments about Animal Farm. So Animal Farm, of course, our book club topic. Here we go. Okay, so this is from an Iranian person who says, "Hi, dear coach. I'm encouraged by reading Animal Farm again. I think, in general, it can be related to any political revolution. So not just communist or socialist, but any. We had a sample here in Iran. They start with some great mottos like freedom and justice and fighting against tyranny. But as soon as they achieve power and form a government, gradually all the values will be stolen and disappear. And they just repeat the propaganda, the mottos again and again and again for the poor, confused people. And then they just try to focus on the enemy. They choose the enemy and just get people to focus on that instead and to forget about the original ideas of the revolution." So I think that was a good point. I think he makes a very good point, and I agree with him. And I think somewhere else someone made the similar point that many people reading Animal Farm, that a lot of people see their own country when they read that, even if their country is not communist or socialist and never was. Like I see the United States. I mean, when I'm reading Animal Farm, I'm thinking about the United States right now. I can see lots of these things happening right now with what's called cultural Marxism in the United States. And I've had some people on Twitter from Venezuela saying, "Oh, it's happening right now in our country. We're right in the middle of Animal Farm, and it's horrible. It's terrible." And I think a lot of people know about what's happening in Venezuela in the news now, and really sad, really sad. And it's very similar to what Animal Farm describes. But even other revolutions, right? Because is it Hossein, I believe, from Iran, makes a great point. Because at a deeper level, so on one level, the kind of obvious level, George Orwell was criticizing specifically communism and socialism. But you can also go deeper and look at it, and really it's a criticism of power and control in general, any system. That, I think it was Thomas Jefferson. Was it Thomas Jefferson? I can't remember. It's a famous quote. I can't remember who said it or supposed to said it. I think Thomas Jefferson. That power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. And I would add the word control to that. So I think this is human nature, and we can see it in human history, that when a person, or usually a small group of people, has control over other people, they become corrupted. Even if, at the beginning, they seem to have a good purpose, or at least they say they do. What we see again and again and again and again is that when people have too much control over other people, they become more and more evil, more and more corrupt, more and more terrible, right? And if they get even more power and control, they become more and more and more evil. Almost every case. And so that what a few of our Twitter readers have commented to me is that, and I think they're right, that if you look at it really at a deep level, this is really a deep commentary about Animal Farm, the book, is a deep commentary about power and control and the dangers of power and control, and too much of it being in the hands of small groups of people. So if you look at it like that, then yes, I think most of us can see this in our own countries. Some less, some more. In the United States, I would say more, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. In the United States, it's the culmination of these gigantic companies that have so much power and control. Companies like Google, for example, that has a huge amount of control over our communication, not just in America, but in the whole world. Over a massive amount of control over the internet and how we reach other people. I mean, they can silence people. If Google blocks you. Can you still reach people? Yes, but not many. Okay, you will be effectively silenced. Same with Facebook, right? Facebook, Google, those are probably the two big ones, right? Amazon as well. Now, so far, I don't think Amazon's abusing that power too much, but they have the power. And as Orwell warns us, because they have so much power and control in the area of books and publishing, you know, history shows us they will probably abuse it. And then, of course, governments as well, right? I can see that again in, you know, whether it's military power and control or spying on citizens or just having these huge governments that just keep growing and growing and growing, and then they're controlling us and spying on us, right? We can see this. And we can look back at history and see it too, all over the world. So that power corrupts, you know, and I think that's a very good point that people have made to me, is that while, yes, George Orwell was specifically talking about socialism and communism, but really the message, it's a wider message. And I agree completely. So good points. We have very intelligent Effortless English members. So thank you for your comments. I appreciate your comments. Tell me on Twitter, give me your ideas about Animal Farm. You know, let's discuss it. I'm very much interested in how you see it. Because again, with great books, they're great and powerful because they connect to us personally. We can all find something in them that's a little different. So great comments, very good ideas, good thoughts, good questions. All right, lots of hellos. Let's see, Mongolia, Thailand. Muhammad asks, how are you? I'm very well, thank you. Doing well. Can you speak slowly? I'm sorry. I'll try to speak more slowly. Okay, so far not so many questions, really comments, more, just thanking me. So thank you. You know, I will say, I also mentioned this on Twitter that I'm enjoying the book club quite a lot. It's something different and enjoyable with me to share a book that I also enjoy. So it's kind of learning together with it. So I look forward to doing more books in the future, sharing more of my favorite books with you, with Effortless English fans and members. I'm glad you're enjoying it, because for me it's also quite enjoyable to read these books, because I'm thinking too, as I read these books, as I read each chapter again and think about, you know, what are the messages and what do I want to talk about in the show, it makes me think more deeply and ask questions about it. And so it's good for me too. It makes the book more enjoyable and meaningful for me by knowing I have to discuss it with you. So I appreciate that also. I'm glad that you are enjoying it, and you know, hopefully we all learn together. Still working? Okay, let's go to Twitter. All right, I'm looking at Twitter again to see if there's any more comments or questions that I wanted to discuss. Carol, actually, I've had a little bit of conversation on Twitter with an Effortless English member named Carol from France, I believe, and I'm probably mispronouncing her name. That's the English pronunciation, Carol. Sorry. But anyway, she's very interested in Shakespeare, so she's been asking me about Shakespeare. She's been trying to read Shakespeare, but having a lot of trouble. And so every now and then, sometimes people ask me about Shakespeare, and they're complaining or they're asking me because they feel that they try to read Shakespeare, but it's super difficult, and they ask me advice. So let me just say, Shakespeare is very, very, very difficult. For someone learning English as a foreign language, it's difficult. You know, it's not modern, normal English. You know, this is English from hundreds of years ago. And some of the grammar was different. For example, they used thee and thou, which we don't use that anymore. The whole style of speech, very different. So generally, I recommend that avoid Shakespeare until you are very, very, very advanced. Because, number one, it's not so useful for normal conversation. You can't speak like Shakespeare. You're going to get vocabulary that's not used very much anymore, grammar and sentence type structures that are quite different than how we speak now. Shakespeare is fantastic, of course, in terms of the meaning, and the great stories, very, very, very powerfully written. But I think for English learners, very, very tough. Even for me to read Shakespeare, I have to focus. It's not light reading. I have to concentrate because, again, it's not the usual style of English that we use now. So if you're wanting a huge, big challenge, you can try it, but don't, if you become frustrated, if you find you're trying Shakespeare and it's just too tough, don't worry about it. There's lots of other stuff out there. Great, great, great books in English that are easier to understand and that use a more modern style. So Carol says she might try Shakespeare later. She just really likes his plays, but she's also decided to wait and try again later. So I think it's a good choice. All right. I'm not sure I'm not getting any comments now, so I'm not sure if the live is working. Morning, hi, little All right, I'm going to change my settings real quick. Let's see if I can. Your comments are not coming through right now live, so I'm trying to check and see if I can change the settings a little bit. It's working?
No.
You can hear it? Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, how weird. I'm not seeing any new comments coming in. It's working?
Comment, yeah.
Okay, well, it's just the comments, so that's no problem. Great. Well, I'll just look on Twitter. Okay. Rafael Leandro is asking about business English, and he asked about my business English lessons that I had. Actually, my father and I made a business English course. It was called Business English Conversations, and it was a separate business. He managed the business, and they're very popular lessons. A lot of people told me they really loved them. But just recently, this year, my dad decided to retire from that business. He didn't want to do it anymore, so we closed it. So right now, I don't have any business English lessons, or I don't have a business English course available. I may do one in the future myself, just me. We'll see. If I have time, and I may try to do that. But right now I don't have it. So Raphael's asking, so what other suggestions do I have about English, learning business English? So I think the best way to do business English in general would be, it's the same idea that I mentioned for vocabulary, which is read business books and listen to business audiobooks. Now, luckily, there are tons of them. There are so many, okay, and there are many, many business books that are designed for a general audience, right? They're not too specialized. They're designed for a general audience, but they're in all the major areas of business. So there are lots and lots and lots of marketing books, for example. Audio books and text. There are lots of books about sales. There are tons, so many books about management and about leadership. So those are sort of the big general areas. There are also lots of books about searching for a job, job interviewing, career development, all of those major areas. So I would recommend that you just read business books and listen to business audiobooks every day as much as you can. You do this, you're going to start getting all that business English vocabulary. Most of what business English is, what makes it different, is really just vocabulary. And the grammar is really no different. Right? You don't. If I'm going into a business meeting or talking business with someone, I don't use different grammar. I don't use different pronunciation. There just might be, some specific business vocabulary that I'll use depending on the topic. I mean, really, that's all. So it's really just a vocabulary issue. So that's why it really is the same answer as the question about vocabulary. This is really true for a lot of specialized areas of English. People talk about, they call it English for special purposes or specific purposes. It's really just a vocabulary issue. If you want to learn, English for travel, for example, like the travel industry, well, you'd read lots of books about the travel industry and listen to podcasts and audio books that focus on travel and the hospitality industry, and then you would learn the vocabulary you need. That's how you do it. So that's how you learn most of those special areas. But still, in those special areas, you have to realize, 80, 90% of the communication is just general English still. It's still just general English. So when I'm talking business to someone, I'd say, especially me, 90, 95%, I'm just using the same general English that I always do. Okay, good. All right, back on Twitter. Good question here on Twitter. I wonder why the Facebook's not showing. It's weird. Oh well. Anor on Twitter asks, how can I talk faster? As in the speed. Well, that's a good question. I have two answers for you. Number one, my first quick answer is really, you don't need to, probably. I don't know how fast you speak. If you speak really slowly, maybe it's a problem. Maybe people get impatient. They don't want to listen to you. But otherwise, you can talk fairly slowly, and that's fine. I don't talk fast usually. Right now, I'm not talking very fast, and it's perfectly fine. Lots of native speakers, meaning people who learned English as a child, as a baby, lots of native speakers speak fairly slowly. In the United States, some parts of the country, the people are famous for speaking slowly. And in other parts, they're famous for speaking quickly. So you don't have to do this. It's not necessary to speak really fast, really quickly. But if generally, the second part of my answer then, if you feel you do need to speed up a little bit, then you can use the shadowing technique I use in my pronunciation course. So that's where you listen to an audio of a native speaker, and you listen and you try to speak along with them at the same time. So you're hearing and speaking at exactly the same time, trying to match the speaker. And yes, it's difficult. It is difficult, and especially in the beginning, you're going to find that it's quite difficult to go fast enough. Your mouth will get, and you'll mispronounce stuff, and you probably have to stop and pause, rewind, do it again. That's okay. But as I said, in my pronunciation course, I have a whole system with this, but my short answer is to do that. Listen to audios and try to speak along with them. And yes, you'll make mistakes. Don't worry about it. Just do that for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes per day. And you'll find that your speaking will start to improve in speed. It will get faster. So my total answer, number one, don't stress about this. Don't worry about it too much. And number two, use that technique. Okay. Why is Facebook not showing questions, eh? No, I don't have Facebook on my phone. I don't. All right, just checking Twitter some more, guys. I'll do a couple more questions, and then I'm going to eat dinner. That's an interesting question. I got a question about, let me read it because it's interesting. Okay, here we go. Hi, Jay, I'm 20 years old. I still feel like I'm a mama's boy. This is not an English question, but I get these kind of questions. I'm getting these kind of questions more and more. I don't know why. Maybe now I'm almost 50 years old. People see me as like a kind of a dad type of guy. When I was younger, nobody thought of me like that. But now it seems they do. Some do. So I get these kind of questions sometimes. So, hey, I'll do my best. I'm not perfect, but I'll give you my best honest answer. All right, I'm a 20-year-old guy. I feel like I'm still a mama's boy. I have no idea about my life. If I get a girl, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with her. I don't know how to take care of her. How do I fix this? How do I learn in life? I'm badly in need of your help. Whew, so I want to answer this question because it kind of makes, I understand the feeling, because when I was 20 years old, I was exactly the same. Probably worse. I was probably much, 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 much worse than this guy, in fact. The other reason I want to do my best to answer this question is because this is such a common thing now. I think that so many young men, boys, and young women, but I can especially understand the young men out there, are having these kind of feelings. So what do you do when you're 20 years old and maybe you like girls and they're not interested in you, they don't respect you, you feel like a mama's boy, you feel weak, you don't know what to do with your life, all that stuff. I know it's hard. I mean, for one thing, the girl question, you've got hormones. I mean, biologically, you're attracted to them. You want girls. And the other thing is emotionally, right? Maybe you have this need to, if a girl likes me, then it means I'm good enough. It means I'm a good enough person. So I understand that. All right. Yes, I felt that way myself for many years. It's a common thing. And it's hard. It's very tough at that age because nobody teaches you this stuff. Almost nobody learns about this. You have to figure it out. So let me give you some, my basic short answers to help you out. And these are the answers. I already gave the answer on Twitter, but I'm just sharing it with more people. The number one thing I would say is, at this point, you don't have any idea about life. You feel kind of like you're weak. You feel like you're kind of a mama's boy. You're not really a man yet. It's difficult, but I would say don't focus on girls. That doesn't mean you don't date. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying don't make girls your number one focus. Girls should not be the most important thing in your life, right? You've got to get your life figured out, right? If you're going to be a man, you got to lead yourself. You got to become, what we call in English self-reliant. You rely on yourself. You can take care of yourself. You have a feeling of purpose in your life. You have a feeling of mastery in your life. You develop some strength. I mean, I don't necessarily mean physical strength, although that's nice. I really am talking about mental strength to handle difficult challenges and problems and overcome them and keep going. You need to develop these things first before you worry about having a girlfriend, and certainly before you have a wife and a family. Why do you think I waited so long? It took me a long time to do this. Much longer than most, probably. I hope it takes you a much shorter time. But this is what you need to do first. You got to get your own life centered and strong. You got to figure that stuff out first. So just put the girl's problem to the side for a while and get the rest of your life, straightened out. Do what you have to do. Take some chances. Take risks. Most of all, face difficult challenges. You have to find difficult challenges and try to overcome them. You will fail. You will fail many times, but you'll learn. Just keep going and try again, try again. Many times you'll fail, and then sometimes you'll succeed. And each time you succeed, and hopefully each time you fail, you'll learn something, you'll grow a little stronger, you'll grow a little smarter, a little wiser, you'll develop your confidence more. And if you do this over several years, then you'll start to feel like a man. Then you will be much better with girls, okay? They will start to naturally be attracted to you, to your confidence, to your leadership and your sense of purpose in your life, that your life is going well, that you're a confident, strong guy, you know what you want in your life, you're having some success, you have some mastery. That's when girls will start to be attracted to you. It's also when other men will start to respect you more. So in that way, instead of trying a lot of techniques and things with girls, this works at a much deeper and I think really more honest level. Now you can read books if you're, in terms of girls and dating, there are lots of books out there that tell you, how to kind of pretend to be a macho guy and how to talk to them and attract them and all that. It's okay. It's okay to learn some of that stuff, but it's much more powerful to develop truly inside yourself through your actions in your life. So that's my best short advice. Read more books about this. There's lots of guys out there on the internet writing about these topics. So read about these guys. Read their advice. Everybody has a bit of their different advice. So you can start to put together your ideas and try these things. But the main short answer is, take care of your life first. Get yourself strong and figure out what you want in your life and go get it. Then you get the girl and the family. All right, good luck to you. Good luck to you all. I know it's difficult. Believe me. I'm not saying it's easy. I know it's not. Okay. Another question. Hi, Coach. Any future plans to make a leadership program or a course that helps to teach English? Good questions. Yes, I have thought about making a leadership course. I definitely have. If I do a business course in the future, a new business course, I may focus on that specific topic of leadership. So, instead of doing a big general business course, that's a huge topic. There are lots of parts to business. So I might focus more on leadership specifically. That's one area that I feel pretty comfortable in and know about. The other areas I know pretty well are like marketing and sales. Management, I can't really teach because I've never done it. I've never really managed directly teams of people in an office. I've worked only at a few larger companies and I hated it. So that's why I did the course in the past with my dad, because my dad worked in a large company, IBM, for many, many years. He was a manager. So we had a nice balance in that course. His sort of traditional, normal business background and my kind of weird, strange entrepreneur, small business background, and that made a very interesting course. But if I'm only teaching it, then I have to narrow it down to things that I know. And that would probably be things, would either be leadership, marketing, or sales. Those are the things I feel pretty strong about. I'm pretty good at those things in business. The other stuff, I'm not so good, so I don't want to teach you bad stuff. The other question was a teacher training course. Now, I actually did this in the past. It was a few years ago. I did it online, and I did a teacher training course that went quite well. I enjoyed doing it. So I might do it again, maybe, possibly. We shall see. Okay, another question. Well, I'm getting the questions on Twitter. So for some reason, those of you watching on Facebook Live, I'm not seeing questions or comments. They're not popping up for me. I'm not seeing them. So if you have a question, Twitter's the better place right now. I don't know why. Facebook Live is not working. There's maybe a bug or something. My Twitter is my name, AJ Hoge, AJHOGE, twitter.com/AJHOGE. Did you eat already? You can eat if you want. Yeah. You don't bother me. Okay. Pam comments. Let's see. Hello. My listening and reading skills are quite good. I can understand almost everything on TV or in the book. That's great. But the problem is writing. I always make mistakes when writing. Should I try to improve or just let it go? I don't use English much in my life. Thanks. Well, you kind of answered your own question. Well, it's completely your decision, and that since you said you don't really need it, it sounds like you don't need writing, really. I mean, your tweet, your question on Twitter here is written quite well. It's perfectly understandable. It's fine for a very casual, like Twitter, social media. Your writing, I think, is totally fine. So if that's all you need, then no problem. You don't have to do it. You don't have to become a great writer in English. It's not necessary unless you need it or want it. So again, if you're mostly just using it for speaking and understanding, if you can understand everything on TV or almost everything on TV, that's really good. That's impressive. That's a very, very good listening level. And you can understand books. So it sounds like your general English level is quite good. And it's just the writing. And I understand writing it's sort of the last skill we learn, even as like native speakers, American kids or whatever. It's the last skill. It's the most formal skill. It has the most little technical rules. So you have to be the most careful with it, especially for formal writing like business or school. If you don't need those things, no, you don't have to do it. Of course not. This is the great thing about independent learning. You are the boss. Nobody tells you what you need to learn. You decide. So from what you said in your comment or question, I would say don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. If you need to do it later, well, then maybe yes, you'll have to focus on writing some. But yeah, learn what you want to learn. You are the boss. Okay, I think that's about it, since the comments aren't working. Okay, last chance for a question or comment, and then I'm done. Calva says, have a good time in your tropical vacation. I will. So I'm going on vacation, and I will not be doing an Effortless English show this weekend. So no Animal Farm Chapter 3 this weekend, because I'll be gone. So we'll do it the next weekend. All right, so 1.5 weeks from now will be the next Animal Farm Book Club Effortless English show. And we will do Chapter 3 of Animal Farm. So you have 1.5 weeks to catch up. If you're behind, get Animal Farm, read Chapters 1, 2, and 3. Or just watch my 2 shows, the first 2 shows, and then read Chapter 3 if you can. So we will discuss Chapter 3 in about 1.5 weeks of Animal Farm. All right, well, thank you. It's been nice talking to you, chatting with you this evening, and that's it. Have a great weekend. I'll be relaxing in the sun, swimming in the warm tropical water. All right. See you in 1.5 weeks. Have a great day, and bye for now.